Good morning. It's the 11th of October. We are Signal Centre Talking Ball. I'm Joe Neighbour, joined by Steve O'Hare. Morning, Steve.
Good morning, mate. All right.
Yeah, good. Did you have a nice weekend?
Uh, yes, I think it was pretty nice from my
You
memory.
think?
Yeah.
Okay.
As you get old, Joe, you tend to remember things that happened a few minutes ago.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Looking very smart today.
Thank you very much. Might be going in the office this morning.
Ooh.
What about you?
Yeah, same here. That's why we are starting bright and early this morning, and we'll be doing so going forward on our office days, I guess, just to make sure that we are staying up to date with everything.
Yeah.
I guess the only issue is that we're in front of the open
Yeah, it
on
is a little bit.
equities.
Yeah, I think just got to sort the timing out on that. I don't see a problem going in a little bit late, but we'll
No,
see.
you can
See
do.
how
I
it
just,
works.
yeah, fine. Right, let's get cracking. So, news over the weekend. The Bank of England officials gave further hints that an increase in interest rates may be coming to tackle inflation. Michael Saunders suggested that the traders were right to bring forward bets on hikes, while Governor Andrew Bailey warned of a very damaging period of inflation unless policymakers take action. So, markets are almost fully pricing in the first move by the end of this year. Which is at the next monetary policy announcement due on the 4th of November. Britain and the EU are also set for a potential clash on Northern Ireland this week, as the UK Brexit minister will seek changes to the protocol that gave governors trade flows with that governs trade flows with Ireland. Also, we've got some issues with France over fishing rights again. So bloody Brexit.
Bloody
Um,
Brexit.
Bloody Brexit. West Texas Intermediate crude oil futures have topped the psychological price threshold of $80 a barrel for the first time since 2014. Oil has benefited from soaring prices of natural gas amid decreasing stockpiles ahead of winter in the Northern Hemisphere. Stocks look set to open a bit flat today. Obviously, we've got about 25 minutes until the European Open for stocks. It's also a US holiday today, I believe, but the markets will remain open. So um, we will see, some opportunities, I guess, but it could be fairly limited. It's Columbus Day in the US today.
Lovely.
Okay, so Steve, let's get stuck into some charts. Where do you want to kick things off today?
Let's talk about indices really to start with.
Sure.
Just had a little bit of a look at the SA40 on analysing that this morning, and yeah, just saw us sort of bouncing back up into decent resistance levels there. But let's start with FTSE. The last 4 weeks we've been sort of like we've opened closed around the same levels. Uh, clearly sort of like signs of really waiting for the next move in the indices on the FTSE side of things. Obviously, dollar strength this responds well to, so that's why we've had a nice little bounce. We've got decent support level coming in at 68.10, resistance 72.35, and that'll be really the highs before that, going back to February 2020, so before the pandemic. So we're sort of like we're just hanging around like a bad smell just below those highs that we saw last year. And yeah, at the moment, I think it's still a sort of question of wait and see. Um, DAX posted a bullish hammer last week. Again, it's sort of lower highs, lower lows. So the trend is lower. 14,810 is the for me the sort of like the real break level to watch. If we do break below there, then I think the downside could accelerate. I keep saying this, but we seem to have that sort of like corresponds with the May low, the May swing low. These are obviously weekly charts that we're looking at. On a daily perspective, a little bit more short term, we've got a little bit of a complex looking head and shoulders potentially forming. Again, the neckline to that is around about 14,800. So over the last sort of like day or so, we've seen a little bit of topping out on this rally, but still negative momentum, although it sort of like seems to be waning slightly. Also, we are towards sort of like oversold conditions, but not quite. On the CAC, again, daily chart, little bit of a sell-off on Friday. Obviously, we had non-farm, really a bit of a damp squid, and not really a huge reaction to it. and we've seen the Ichimoku cloud offer decent resistance and capped gains really above the 66.20 level on CAC, and now trading lower down at 65.40. Again, it feels like Monday, Tuesday we could get the potential for a little bit of negativity coming in. SA40, we've got this, like, this used to be support, this level here around about the 59,000 area, and once we've broke through it, had a really decent sell-off. We've seen this reaction higher. It could be an inverse head and shoulders forming, but we haven't managed to break the neckline. As well, I suppose you could say potentially we've broken a neckline. Let me just draw one on here. If really we take that as a left shoulder, it's not a great one. Potentially broken the neckline of that, but I do like to see also that horizontal break of this high of the left shoulder where it hits the neckline. So that really has to close above 58,685, which it potentially has done from Friday. So really have to, sorry, this is the 11th today, so this is like Thursday and Friday's price action. So it does look positive, excuse me, but it hasn't. It's rejected the break above it this morning. So we did get up to 59,160. And it's down below 59,000. So 59,000, big round number, feels like a decent level to me. Fading that this morning, however, if it does hold again above there, then this could potentially play out for a nice upside swing. Dow Jones under pressure, gains are capped by the Ichimoku cloud. We've got a nice little downward trending resistance line coming in, which we've tested on sort of like over the last 3 days of price action, and seems to have been capped at the moment. Again, the Nasdaq under pressure. Tech stocks obviously took a bit of a hit over the last few weeks, and really there's a nice trend line coming in and nice resistance in the Ichimoku cloud and horizontal resistance as well. So looks to be stalling ever so slightly here. Negative momentum is also stalling, so really has to see how this plays out. There's no real sort of like massive indicator which is saying, you know, this looks like we're, you know, new trends or whatever. It just looks a bit more sideways, with gains being capped, slapped on the head, and then we seem to get the buyback and the sort of like rally into the end of the week. This is what's been playing out over the last month or so. Aussie 200, again, similar sort of price action, just hanging about, going sideways, nothing really to shout about. China 50 has had a nice break higher, rejected a break of the 14,500, didn't quite get there, a higher low posted, and we've broken up, and we've actually hit the top of the Ichimoku cloud, which is the major part of the cloud resistance, and it's stalled and reversed from there. So maybe that is a little bit of a turnaround on China 50. That comes in around about 16,000, that resistance. So for me, really important how that plays out over the sort of like coming 24 hours. Similar sort of thing in Hang Seng. We had the support, broke down below the support. That acted as a resistance now, and we've broken back above it. However, further resistance above. Yeah, it's like we've had 3 decent days of price action, and so the sort of like Far East seems to be performing a little bit better than our US, the Far West, and the European markets. So where Nikkai's again hit the resistance on the cloud and stalled. So it does feel like a Monday morning. It feels like pre-market Monday morning, which we are, and not really anything to sort of like get our teeth into as far as that's concerned. However, Bitcoin is really performing well. We've reached the measured move, double bottom measured move target at last, and it's trading around there quite nicely. We've got 78.6% Fibonacci retracement coming in around about 57,000, and we've stalled just in front of there. So all looks positive on the home front on Bitcoin. Bitcoin seems to be outperforming the rest of the cryptos that we cover. Cardano has broken above the downward trending resistance, so that's positive, retesting that downward trending resistance line. Not a great deal to say about Ripple, although it did hit its measured move target in the from the double bottom, which came in at 117. We talked about that last week. It has formed a shooting star, though, on the daily chart. That was yesterday. These markets never sleep. And Ethereum, that is also above the downward trending resistance line from the highs of September, and we seem to have bounced off a retest of it. So that's looking pretty good as well. So cryptocurrencies on a positive note at the moment. And just finish off with commodities. Oil above $80 a barrel for the WTI crude oil. We've broken above this resistance line, the $76.35, and it's just continued higher. It's not. We had that pullback from Thursday's price action, but it was very quickly rejected, and we saw the this channel being maintained. We can see the spike below the channel. We drew this channel early last week, and when price action was trading up around about these levels, it's come down, retested, nice bullish hammer, and bounce higher. So resistance coming in around about 81.75 on the WTI crude oil. Brent crude oil obviously kicking on in a similar fashion, trading around about the 6th of October high, which was last Wednesday, and back up there. Looking to kick on again. Obviously, we had this retracement to 81.60. So all on the front foot. Natural gas is holding at around the supported level of. Let's redraw this trend support line. Got a nice 3 points there. Fourth just failed to touch. So yes, trend support coming in around about 562. Really, if we get above the $6. We've got the potential to open up to the upside again. So what's gold done? Gold had a nice little spike on Friday over non-farm payroll, got up to 1781 before reversing back and settling in around about the 1755 level. Support really for me coming in around about 1720 to 1723, whereas the resistance really is 1790 to 1800, and then 1833 is the big one. So plenty to consider, and on the commodity side of things, and I'll let Joe take over on the effects.
Lovely, cheers, Steve. Okay, so dollar index definitely has that feel of a Monday morning about it at the moment. It's still trading in this bullish channel, and we're still being rejected at its resistance level up here at 94.47, which is a 38.2% fib level of the much larger move. So we continue to stall or consolidate around this kind of level, but while we remain above this black line, which is at 93.73, then I think there is scope for higher prices, but clearly some resistance we need to overcome as well. So expecting more range bound action, more consolidation for now on that. Having said that, looking at some of the other riskier assets, there does appear to be some appetite for risk, particularly in something like Aussie yen, for instance. This big cluster of resistance that I've had drawn on the chart for a while has done a pretty decent job. But looking at this today, it's really breaking out to the upside, to also taking out this short-term downtrend. We're just fast approaching the 61.8% fib level of this move here from the highs to the lows. The volume isn't particularly supportive, so I'm a little bit concerned. So I'm not going to give up on these drawings just yet that I've got, or these resistance levels. We'll wait and see how this closes today. If it does close above these levels, then I'll be giving up on these, and I expect this all to turn into support. But for now, going to wait and see what happens. It is expected to be a quiet day today with the US on a public holiday, although the markets are set to remain open. So wait and see what happens there. Aussie US dollar, well, that's rallied from the lows that were posted recently. Again, not a massive uptick in volume, and it is approaching some downtrend resistance. So we'll have to wait and see how prices react around this kind of zone. For me, I still think it is a case of selling into strength with that for now. Looking at cable, that's had a decent bounce from these lows that we posted just last week. Oh, sorry, not last week, on the 29th of September. We've rallied back pretty strongly. We're trying to take out this resistance level here at 36.58, which is also a 50% fib level of just this small swing move here. So waiting to see what happens on that. Overall, I think we've got a double top in place, and I'll be looking to sell into strength. But we need to be mindful that price is looking pretty strong in the very short term. But also keeping an eye on this volume for a little bit of additional confirmation, which we're not getting just yet. Looking at Euro US dollar. Similar to what we're seeing on the dollar index, really. We've seen the big move lower. We are trading below what was support and maybe now resistance, and we're sort of moving a bit sideways or consolidating. So not an awful lot going on there. Again, I think it's a case of selling into strength, and anything up to this kind of zone here between 116.64 to 117.04, I'd be looking to sell into. So keeping an eye on those levels for now. Let's have a look at dollar yen. Anything yen related, there's been a lot of yen weakness, and a big breakout here on dollar yen, taking out this previous high that we saw back in February last year, and also the March levels that we saw. Quite an impressive move to the upside, really. In terms of where the next resistance levels are, we've got to go some way back to this kind of zone back in October 2018 for a potential resistance level to target. So you can see there's a number of levels here that kind of line up, giving us a decent target up at 114.28. It's a similar situation for Euro Yen, although not quite broken out of this mini range that it's trading in. This has been a really good range to trade if anybody's been looking at this. It's now testing the upper end of that. At this previous levels from back here in September. If we can see a break to the upside, then I'd expect a continuation higher on Euro Yen over the short to medium term. That's it on the currency front.
Nice one, mate. Gun to head.
Yeah, gun to the head. So pretty muted on Friday, which is pretty amazing, really, given that it was non-farm payrolls. I went short of the DAX and made 17 ticks, or 0.19R. You went long of the S&P, so we had conflicting views. You were down 7 ticks, or down 0.23R, and this was a non-farm Friday day.
Yeah.
Pretty
Who said
amazing.
it was going to be volatile?
Yeah, forget that. Nothing doing on those. Pretty much cancel each other out. So, Steve, have you got anything you fancy?
Yeah, I'm going to go with what you went through with DAX. I'm going to go short of DAX. They've got these resistance levels that it sort of like held at on that Friday, and I'm going to put my stop just above there. Obviously, the open is in 10 minutes. We'll have a bit of volatility, but we're forming a bearish outside candle on the 4-hour chart, so I'm going to go with that. 3-to-1 risk reward. Getting short here at 15,169.5. Targeting 14,869.5, and stop at 15,269.5.
Lovely. You nicked my idea, Steve.
Yeah, go on. You do it as well. If you do a different stop or something.
Go for it. Maybe I'll do another index.
We'll have double bubble if we win.
FTSE.
Yeah, FTSE was my first thought, actually.
So this is the hourly chart. Huge outside candle on the approach to the open in Europe. We quite often see that, actually. You get these horrible candles just prior to the open, but I've got some resistance there as well. So let's sell that at 70.80. Stop just above the highs, 40 ticks, and I'm going to target and move all the way down here. Why not? These were the lows that we posted on the 6th of October. Down there, and I've got to target 69.47, so looking for 3.3R on that one today. See if that's a fib level.
Excellent.
To there. Is it?
Yeah, not far away, mate. Yeah, perfect.
78.6. Bang. Look at that.
Done. Job done.
Right, that'll do. Okay, nothing on the calendar today. It's really quiet. I think we've got one ECB speaker at around about 1:30, but that's pretty much it. So it's Columbus Day in the States. Stock markets will remain open, but there's no cash treasuries trading because of the holiday. So trade safe, everybody.
Cheers.
And we'll be back tomorrow morning.
Cheers. Bye.
Bye-bye.